All right. So um, today I'm here with Scott Cunningham. He's the host of the Crypto and Things podcast. I'm going to speak to Scott about living on crypto in Canada. Scott, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on the show.
Awesome. Thanks for joining me. Let's get started. Scott, what would you say the Canadian crypto community is like? Is it Bitcoin centric or is it more altcoin um, influenced?
Hmm. That's a hard one to answer. I mean, I don't know if I have that well of a grasp on what everyone here likes to get into, but at least in my own circle of friends, a lot of us are really just focused on Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I don't know if that's just because that's what everyone's into, or because I've convinced everyone to be investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I've really become a lot more conservative with my crypto over the last little while, and I've been consolidating a lot of my crypto back to just Bitcoin and Ethereum, and just kind of going back to basics, going back to the fundamentals. But in terms of like the Canadian community, yeah, I don't know if I could speak on behalf of everyone, but yeah, from my understanding, we're pretty basic. I mean, we just stick with like the main coins. I'm sure there's people who speculate on like a lot of altcoins and stuff as well, but from my experience, most people are just sticking to the basics here.
How's the Canadian government's regulatory stance on crypto?
Yeah, for regulation in Canada, I don't keep up with it as much as I probably should. I know they're not super active. I mean, they only just started to, go after crypto taxes with the CRA, which is like our version of the IRS here in Canada. They only just started that last year, so it's still pretty early on. I haven't seen anything lately. Like I was looking last night to double check if there's anything that's come out in the past like a year or so, but I haven't really seen much. So it's pretty slow here. I mean, I think with the change in American leadership, we might see, depending on what they do, I think we'll probably largely end up following a lot of the changes that they do. But yeah, I mean, there hasn't been a ton happening here regulation wise. I think it's been pretty calm. Yeah. I mean, Canada is one of the most cashless societies already. So I think crypto is probably a natural next step for us.
What about the average guy on the street in Canada? Would you say they're familiar with Bitcoin nowadays, or is it still kind of a fringe concept?
Yeah, that's a hard one. I would say it depends. I think every time I go in an Uber, I always ask them like, "Do you know what Bitcoin is? Do you know what Ethereum is?" Because I'm always curious. And they're talking to everyone all day. So yeah, I mean, the average person has generally heard of Bitcoin, but I would say they probably don't know what it is, or like they wouldn't know any other coins. Like if I said, hey, like they say, "Oh, what do you do?" And I say, "Oh, I talk about cryptocurrency," and they would say like, "Oh, like Bitcoin, or like you talk about Bitcoin," and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, exactly." But they don't know anything else. They just think cryptocurrency just means Bitcoin. So I guess there is like a very low level understanding for the most part. But yeah, people definitely don't really like. They're not very aware of this, but it's nice to see that people have at least heard of Bitcoin and there's some understanding. And I think maybe over this next 7, 8 months, if we see Bitcoin, do something crazy, I'm sure a lot more people will be hearing about it for sure.
Is it easy to convert your crypto into Canadian dollars, or is it difficult?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's pretty easy to convert your money. Whether I'm using Bitrefill and I'm just swapping into gift cards, or I'm, transferring through CoinSquare, which is kind of like the Canadian version of Coinbase. It's quick, it's easy. I also have a crypto, like a prepaid Visa card that I also load with Dash, and then I'll just sell that into Canadian dollars, and that's also really really easy. I use that to buy a lot of things, anything that I can't buy basically with gift cards. So like groceries, depending on the grocery store. or beer or, whatever it happens to be. I can pay for all that using my Bitvo crypto prepaid Visa.
What about Lightning Network? Would you say it's popular amongst Bitcoiners in Canada, or is it still kind of like really cutting edge?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot of insight into the mining community here in Canada, so I would probably just pass on that. But if anything, I'd probably say it's a little too cutting edge because we're a little slower to adopt things here. But yeah, no, I assume it's either it might be on the brink of happening or it might already be happening. But I just don't have the insight into to the mining community. I'm more so focused on spending crypto, earning crypto, and blockchain social.
How would you say Canadians are typically acquiring their crypto? Or is there like a big trading community? You mentioned mining. Um, what about earning as like freelancer or anything like that?
Yeah, I think there is like a wave right now where people are earning crypto a lot more than they ever used to be. I think also with like everything going on, people getting stimulus checks, I think a lot of people are getting into investing in stocks and in crypto. So there's significantly more people investing and trading than there used to be. As well as just more people becoming aware of different ways to earn cryptocurrency, whether it's through crypto social media or staking, lending, as well as just like actually earning it directly through whether you're doing like, freelancing blockchain jobs or you find a way to work with your current employer and get paid in cryptocurrency. I think there's a lot more of that happening right now. And I think that's going to continue to increase. And yeah, I think we're getting to the point where there's less mining and there's more focus on like earning and just like get investing and getting in. So I hope there's going to be a lot more people getting interested in earning because that's what I'm all about. Not having to necessarily put any money down, but being able to earn cryptocurrency, I think is probably one of the most encouraging ways for new people because a lot of people are skeptical to throw their actual money at something new. But it's very different when you can just earn it for free. People are much more willing to give up some of their time than they are to give up some of their finances. So I think that's probably the best route for adoption for a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think earning by offering value is huge. So, are there like Canadian businesses? Do they accept Bitcoin? Like, can you go spend Bitcoin, or uh, is that like too new?
Yeah, I mean, that's still too new. However, there are certain places that are starting to adopt different forms of spending. So, like in Toronto, they don't necessarily have Bitcoin, but they have like a Toronto specific cryptocurrency called Buns, Bunz. And when I remember because I went to the Futurist conference about 2 years ago and the year before that. And every year they would have a lot of food trucks and all these different things. And every single vendor accepted this cryptocurrency. And then they also have about 150 stores or something like that in Toronto that accept it, from bars to hairdressers, tons of different places that they all accept this one cryptocurrency. And that's like a great starting point. And eventually, hopefully, we'll have more cryptocurrencies that are accepted and in a wider range of businesses. But yeah, they're definitely making strides. I think maybe because Toronto is a little more crypto centric. We've got the headquarters for CoinSquare there, which again is kind of like our Canadian version of Coinbase. Um, so there's a lot of innovation going on in Toronto. So I think certain urban areas in Canada are a lot more further along than where I'm at here in Oshawa, for example, a little outside of Toronto. We don't have anything like that. But in terms of like Bitcoin ATMs and stuff, there's a lot of that around. So there's definitely a lot of adoption coming our way. I think we're going on that path and we're getting there, but we're still pretty early on.
Awesome. That's really inspiring, actually, about Toronto. I'd never heard of that
Yep.
cryptocurrency. What would you say are the most useful Bitrefill gift cards for Bitcoiners in Canada?
It sounds cliche because I'm supporting all these like large brands, but I end up using a lot of like Amazon, Uber, a lot of just a lot of places where I can kind of just get anything. Walmart, Uber. I also, buy clothes from H&M. Pretty much anything that I need, I've been able to get a gift card for. I haven't actually checked for like the beer store or something like that, but almost anything though I'm able to get gift cards for. So Bitrefill has definitely solved a lot of the issues that I would have. And if I really wanted to, I could just buy beer or something from Walmart and I could do everything with Bitrefill. The only reason I don't is more just out of convenience based on like what's close to me. But if I really needed to, Bitrefill could probably just cover my entire lifestyle, which is pretty amazing that that's possible. And yeah, I would say the ones that I use the most often though are probably Uber and Amazon.
Is it possible to live on crypto in Canada?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm living proof in the sense that I'm like half crypto, half fiat right now. Again, I mentioned it's more so just based out of convenience of what's close to me. But if I really, really wanted to go all the way, I could probably be doing almost 100% crypto. The only thing that I would get a little tripped up with is paying for bills. But there are different methods to do that. I just haven't really tested them out yet. Um, as well as you can also pay bills at Walmart. So I could also just get a Walmart gift card again from Bitrefill and pay bills there. So as far as I'm aware, you can absolutely live 100% on crypto. And I'm kind of halfway in, halfway out. But I'd like to eventually go 100% crypto so that I can really prove that as a way of life because I earn a lot of my crypto. So I want to realize this lifestyle where I could eventually just live off of the crypto that I'm earning. And that's what I'm slowly getting closer and closer towards. I'm pretty much there now. I just need to make that final step to really transition everything over and just go 100% crypto.
Is there anything that I haven't asked you that's super important for people to know about living on crypto in Canada?
I would say probably like not necessarily just Canada, but for anywhere. When you're living on crypto, it's just being very aware of the volatility and just being able to manage that where it's like some months you'll try to spend less because crypto is down or months where crypto is up and you'll try to not necessarily try to spend more but trying to cover the expenses that you need to cover in the times where Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies are valued higher so that you're taking the most advantage of the value at the time. And I think that's something that's challenging for some people. I've been living on like a monthly budget versus most people who are like weekly or biweekly. So this hasn't been like a super hard change for me. Um, and I mean, yeah, it really just comes down to being aware of the fact that if I spent money on coffee or something that, the next day it could go way up and then what I had spent yesterday would have been way more today. So like I lost that value. So I think having that awareness kind of makes you a lot more frugal with cryptocurrency and it gives you that kind of financial minimalist mindset where you're trying to avoid spending because that your crypto could be valued a lot more tomorrow. So you've got this natural mindset where you're trying to not spend money. Whereas for most people who are holding fiat currency, that tomorrow with inflation, it's going to be going down. So you are incentivized to spend it. So I think there's a big mindset shift for how you live with your personal finance when you switch from fiat to crypto because with crypto typically you're incentivized to hold it long term because you'll have more whereas fiat you're incentivized to spend it right away. So that's definitely going to be a big shift for people but you're going to end up with more money because of that and I think that's a very powerful concept to deploy in your own life just for personal finance in terms of that.
Well said. Well said. I mean, the cliche is like Laszlo and his pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
It's like that to the max. Yeah.
Can you give us a little bit of info about your podcast and where people can find you online?
Yeah, absolutely. Crypto and things, as you can see right here. Um, yeah, crypto and things. You can find that on Spotify, any podcast network. I just have all my interviews on those, and then on YouTube and other social medias, library, pretty much any blockchain social media platform because I'm on almost all of them. You'll be able to find me under at Scott C Business. Or if you search crypto and things, you might be able to find me as well. But the easiest place to find me is just at Scott C Business. And most of what I do is just tutorials about different cryptocurrencies, different blockchain technologies. I do interviews with different company heads, different projects, and then I also do reviews of different platforms and different services as well. So that because there's so many like for example, crypto social media platforms out there that people don't know where to start. So, what I've done is I've gone and I've done a review of like 170 and just broken down my recommendations so that people don't have to, go through 170 different platforms to figure out what works for them. So a lot of what I do is like consolidating things down and just making it simple for people to find what works for them.
That's awesome. I really like your content, by the way.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for coming on the show and giving us your insight on living on crypto in Canada. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me on.